Hello, everybody. I wonder how you are this week. This week seems to have been a very long week for me, and I'm approaching the end of it a little weary around the edges. Now, it should theoretically have been an easy, restful week. I was, after all, meant to have been having some time off, but that got rather interrupted by a whole range of issues. A combination of factors has been involved, from dealing with a family crisis, fielding phone calls, organising things, having to constantly clear snow so that I can get out of the house if needed. The snow's been falling since Monday and it's still falling outside. It will, if nothing else, give me appreciation for the milder days of spring when they come. And it's also given me a new appreciation for the community in which I live and the wider family of which I am part. In the middle of all this, I've been reflecting on this week's readings, and particularly the reading from Isaiah. And the verse that's stuck in my head is the one at the end of the passage. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I don't know how you are feeling in your own situations and in this rather strange world we're living in. But this passage tells us several things. Firstly, it reminds us that God is in control. He has infinite power, wisdom, and patience. Secondly, it reminds us that everyone, no matter of age, background, gender, gets weary at some point, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. In fact, the passage highlights a group who are young and vigorous and healthy as an example of those who get weary. Thirdly, it tells us how to deal with weariness, to wait on the Lord. And lastly, it tells us what God is going to do. It can be difficult to accept that God is in control, or to relinquish control to God. And this passage gives us good reasons to do so, reasons why we can trust Him with our lives. It reminds us that God created the very earth we live on, that there is no one comparable to Him, that He will not faint or go weary, that He is with us in all, through all. Though no matter where we go, no matter what happens, God is by our side. We may not like to admit that we need help, that we are tired. And our society is slowly changing. It's becoming more acceptable to talk about our struggles, to acknowledge that we need help. But often we still feel we have to keep going, have to put a brave face on it. And the passage tells us that being tired or weary or exhausted is something that everyone will experience at some point, that we are not immune from that. The danger lies when we refuse to acknowledge that, when we just try to keep going and going. I am fiercely independent, rather too fiercely at times. I'm learning to ask for help when I need it, and acknowledge that I can't always do what I would like. And it's difficult to do that. Yet all people need help at some point. When we start to accept that, we can start to rest in that and in God. For that is the way to deal with it. Not to run around frantically trying to do everything and getting everything done, to rest in God, to trust in God, not rushing to do the next thing. We live in an instant and impatient society where we expect things to happen straight away. And that is not always how God works. Sometimes we just need to slow down and breathe and look and listen. Allow God to speak and to guide you in what to do next. In my case, this week, that has involved me phoning others to ask them to help me. On other occasions, I've found that by stopping, by resting, by breathing in and out, by turning to God, the weariness seems less, the problems seem smaller, and life seems more manageable. Resting in the Lord has renewed my strength. I still get tired. I still get weary and frustrated. That's part of life. And the passage says that our strength will be renewed like an eagle. Now, that probably gives you an image of an eagle soaring on a thermal, wings outstretched, but there is more to the story. There is an old legend that says that as an eagle feels its strength fading, feels itself struggling, it flies to a high place, and there it endures a harsh trial of endurance and change. It can't fly because its feathers are overgrown, too heavy and long, so it plucks them all from his body. Plucks its talons from its feet because the talons have grown curled and useless. And defenceless, it cries out and waits for the time of renewal. It has to trust that other eagles will hear its cry and come to aid. They fly overhead, scaring off predators, and they bring food to their incapacitated friend. Slowly, the eagle regains its feathers so it can fly. Slowly, its talons regrow so it can hunt. Slowly, it is renewed, revived, reborn, so it can soar onwards and upwards. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Amen.